Hey, it's me again, and you know when you see my face, I have a creepy story for you. Now, this is a long one, and it is not my story, it is their story, so let's get straight into it. They sent me everything on Instagram, and I'm just a storyteller today. We'll call the person who sent me the story Angel. Now, Angel went to LA and met this girl who was very mysterious. This girl had red hair, freckles, she wore a lot of jewelry, and seemed to be very connected. She would finish Angel's sentences and even say aloud her thoughts. She seemed to know things that Angel never told her. Within them getting to know each other, she admitted to Angel that she was a mermaid. She went as far as to send Angel videos of her cave, which contained skulls and other witchy miscellaneous items. Angel not really knowing what to do with this information. It was kind of like noted, but not fully processed. While Angel would still go on to pursue some level of a relationship with the girl. Angel went back to Florida to live their lives, whatever. Fast forward to one night, Angel decided to go down to the beach to enjoy the vibe. Little did they know that that decision would change the course of their lives forever. Well, when they got down to the beach, Angel says that they can feel this girl's energy. The closer to the water that Angel got, the more she can feel this energy, the more intense this energy got. Surely, Angel got in the water and started swimming. Angel told me that mermaids actually travel in pods. So while they were swimming in the ocean, completely mesmerized and by this point in a trance, swimming into the ocean, they would see a mermaid pop up and they would try to swim to that mermaid. Suddenly another one would pop up in a different but further direction and Angel would swim to them. Now keep in mind, they are completely in a trance at this point. Angel actually got pretty deep out into the ocean and felt this overwhelming sense of peace and serenity as they start to relax and float in the middle of the ocean. Then suddenly, until Angel feels something that felt like seaweed wrap around their legs and pull them under the water. Obviously, Angel did not want to go down to the marine kingdom. It wanted nothing about what they had going on down there. They got back above water, turned around. They didn't notice a mermaid just standing there. They turned to the other direction and noticed a merman standing there. And at this point, Angel is a little bit more than startled. Obviously, they are petrified. Mouth dropped completely open, doesn't know how to take what they are seeing in front of them right now. There are mermaids in the water. Well, basically, they're all surrounding them. Until it finally hits Angel. I gotta get out of here. To which they would turn around and start booking it to shore. But before they left, just one more thing. They just wanted to confirm that what they saw actually happened. Did I just see mermaids and mermen? Was I just lured out into the water? Angel would turn around to confirm what they saw. The mermaids were still there, staring at them. Angel would later find out that the girl that they were talking to was actually a part of all of this. Actually, if it wasn't for her, Angel might have been unalived. This story is getting way too long. So if you want to hear the rest of this, comment part 2. And if you want to hear about how things turned out with Angel and this girl, I can do another part finishing up this story. And make sure you hit that follow button to get more creepy stories like this. LOL, I'm back. Sorry about that. When you see my face though, you know I'm back with a creepy story. Let's get straight into the story time, but first remember that their pronouns are they, them. After Angel saw the mermen and mermaids, they decided to just book it to shore. They turned around to confirm that they actually saw what they just saw. And very much, the mermaids were still there. Angel was utterly captured with curiosity, as they describes the mermaids themselves to be beautifully ugly. As Angel looks up to the sky, Angel notices a light source in the sky. Angel would describe this to be one of their alien friends. It was basically there to warn Angel to get back to shore ASAP, to get back to safety. And Angel would snap out of the trance again and go swimming directly back to shore. Angel actually made it back to shore safely, but the story doesn't end there. Remember the mysterious girl that they met in LA? Well, after that weird encounter, Angel at this point just wants to make sense of what they saw. And the only other person that would have known about this type of stuff would have been her. Angel would go on to contact her about this weird interaction, but she wasn't surprised at all. In fact, she was already caught up. So much so that Angel didn't really have to tell her much about what happened that night, because she admitted to being there. She admitted to being one of the mermaids in the water that night. Remember how Angel felt something that felt like seaweed wrap around their legs and pull them underwater? She would go on to tell Angel that that was her. She was the one who pulled them under the water. She would go on to explain that she did that because she wanted Angel to know that they can actually breathe underwater just like she can. And also went on to explain to them that the other mermaids and mermen that were there had ill intention. And she was the one who was telling them not to harm Angel. which would cause the other mermaids in the water to be infuriated with her because that's what they do. They lure people into the water, into their doom. And here she was, one of them, telling them, hey, not this one. And obviously that experience scared Angel to their core. That was more than enough ammo for Angel to distance themselves out of that relationship. Angel says that this girl is still very fond of them and doesn't quite understand why she chose to spare them. They also feel her energy around them quite a lot and would leave them signs such as synchronicity, angel numbers, etc. till this day. Right now, Angel is doing great and continuing their search about the Marine Kingdom. Alright guys, so if you enjoyed this story time and want more creepy stories like this, make sure you hit that follow button. Keep the conversation going by leaving a comment and letting me know what you think about this story time today. Announcement, I have next week off. I will be dropping a new creepy story every single day starting tomorrow. Bye! Mermaids are absolutely real in Haiti. Here's a story time about a creepy mermaid encounter. This is not my story, this is this person's story, so let's get into it. So Christy loves nature, she loves being outside, and she loves spending time at the beach. However, she lives in the city and does not have much access to the countryside. Until one day, she's in the city, she takes the bus and she meets this gentleman. From there, they started talking and they seemed to really hit it off and they exchanged numbers. One day, he invites Christy to his side of town, which is more the countryside, and Christy, being so excited, is like, yo, let's go, come get me. This is her chance to escape the city. She's super excited. He picks her up and they would drive to his side of town. Now, when they get there, it was not at all what Christy expected. The house and room were made out of sand and mud. Needless to say, this is not the getaway that Christy was expecting to get. She would then try her best to settle down, to try to work with the conditions of the room and try her best to not be rude, because obviously the person that brought her here is super nice. Like, he is a gentleman, he is super sweet, but Christy is just not feeling it. Not only is the physical environment super uncomfortable for her, but she could not put her finger down on what, but she was just feeling really emotional. She was just feeling really angry. She had a rush of emotions, even though the person that brought her there was being super encouraging, super nice, and was just there for her. So like, what was going on? Christy was set to stay with him for a week, but decided quickly that she could not stay here for a week under these conditions. Christy, still wanting the countryside experience, would go and book a hotel and a car for her and her companion to go stay with her the following day. So the next morning, they would get up to drive to the beach where their hotel was, and it was absolutely gorgeous. Little did they know that they were about to have the weirdest experience of their lives. Christy said that she was no stranger to the beach, so she would go down to the beach for like days at a time. She loved the energy of the beach, she loved the energy of the water, so this was definitely her vibe. Now that the trip has turned around for Christy, they're both having a good time laughing. They decided, let's just go down to the beach, stay in the water, and just have a great time. Christy and her companion are in the water facing each other playing. 15 minutes go by in the water. Christy all of a sudden feels, if you watch my previous mermaid story time, the seaweed feeling wrap around her legs and starting to just tangle around her feet. So Christy, being confused, not knowing what that is, goes to her companion. But when she gets to the companion, the feeling completely stopped. So then she would swim back to her spot, where she would then feel that same feeling wrap around her legs and ask, is there something on my feet? She goes back to her companion's side and it stops. So she's asking him, yo, there has to be something, some sort of seaweed underneath the water, because every time I go back to my spot, I can feel something wrapping around my legs. Like, it's just weird. She would go back to that spot and inevitably she would feel the same feeling again. So she asked her companion, yo, can you look? Because she couldn't see beneath the water. She's like, yo, can you look? Because I'm pretty sure there's something grabbing my feet. The companion would look around, say, no, I don't see anything. I think you're Gucci. To which she would swim to him and swim back, but this time, it has a stronger hold around her ankles. To which Christy's like, no, don't gaslight me. I know there's something on my feet. To which the companion would look down and his face and everything would just drop. His mouth dropped open, his entire body froze, and he was just stuck in the moment, looking absolutely petrified. Christy, noticing his expression, is like, what are you looking at? She goes to look down, but before she knows it, she gets yanked underneath the water. To which her companion rushed to her rescue, grabbed her hand to stabilize her. So think of it this way. The companion is holding her by the hand, trying to keep her above water, while whatever has her foot is pulling her deeper into water. So it's a push and a pull going on. Companion is completely freaked out, trying to pull her out, trying to tell her, look, kick your feet at whatever it is. To which Christy would listen and desperately just start kicking her feet in the water to help her get up. After all the kicking and all the pulling, thankfully she got out of the water and gets by the companion's side. Upon Christy getting to the companion, she immediately starts to laugh because, oh my gosh, she cannot believe that an octopus just attacked her like that. Because Christy was sure that this was some sort of sea animal. It had to be an octopus or something. But the way her companion was shook gave Christy the idea that, wait a minute, was I attacked by something else? Her companion is still frozen in time, so Christy's like, yo, hello, I almost drowned, not you. To which Christy would slowly turn around, and what she saw rocked her world. Because standing directly behind Christy were mermaids and mermen. If you want to hear the rest of the story, and according to Christy, what mermaids look like, make sure you follow my page and make sure you comment part 2. And make sure your notification is on because I post a creepy story every day. Creepy mermaid encounter part 2. So it's Christy in the water with her companion, and at this point they're pretty deep into the sea. Christy turns around and sees a mermaid standing at a reachable distance. Christy would describe this mermaid to be a humanoid with gray glowy skin, big lips, razor sharp teeth, long deep black hair that was lifeless and limp. So y'all, they are not as traditionally beautiful as they're portrayed in the media. So Christy, unlike her companion, wasn't overcome by fear. If anything, she was curious. She wanted to know more. So she would wave to the mermaid, to which the mermaid would wave back. However, the mermaid seems hesitant. It wasn't until Christy would turn around and see that her companion is purposely trying to scare off this mermaid. Christy notices that the mermaid was posted next to a rock, and she was really curious about that rock because it didn't look like any regular rock. It kind of looked like a cave. It looked like an entrance to a home. So Christy wanted to see what was in that rock. What is going on? What is this world? To which she would allow her curiosities to get the best of her and swim to this mermaid by the rock. Homeboy back there is like, yo, what are you doing? You're in danger. Don't proceed. Do not proceed. And because he doesn't want to leave her all by herself, thinking she's in harm's way, he would proceed on, following her. So Christy would swim to this mermaid by the rock, to which the mermaid would grab her and they would start swimming very fast. Though the mermaid was very conscious that her companion was actually still following them. So she wasn't being too grabby or too anything. So this mermaid was being very aware of how she was coming off to Christy and the companion. So through the mermaid's gestures, Christy understood that the mermaid was actually taking her to her homeland. So they get to the front. It's a big entrance, but you cannot see inside. It is very dark. To which Christy would swim to her companion and tell him, come inside with me. I want to experience this with you. To which he's like, are you crazy? I do not want to go in there. I honestly feel like you should just go alone. Maybe this is an experience that is meant for you and only you. I don't think I'm supposed to go through this far. To which the companion would hold back and let Christy go. To which the mermaid would grab Christy's hand and they would swim further. So as Christy is swimming away with this mermaid, she can hear her companion that she left behind screaming, no, please do not leave me. Do not leave me, please. To which she would ask the mermaid to unhand her, and she would without any fuss, and she would swim back to her companion to comfort him, telling him, what are you scared of? What are you afraid of? To which he would say, I'm afraid that if you go, I will never see you again. She comforts him and tells him that she feels safe and that she feels like she can do this. To which she would proceed into the kingdom and what she would describe as the most beautiful scene that she'd ever seen. She recalls it as something that you would see straight out of a Disney movie. They had bright shining lights with huge castles. And as tempting as it was, Christy remembers that she does care for her companion and does not want to abandon him right at this moment. So she would proceed to swim back to her companion, to which they would try to swim back and notice that they are quite literally in the middle of the sea, in the middle of the ocean, okay? Like to the point where they could not even see land. So they proceeded to swim back to shore for what felt like 15 minutes. They finally get back to shore. The companion, being so glad to be back to safety, literally kisses the sand. Her petrified companion would then turn around and start blaming Christy for what just happened. He would say that you worship these mermaids, so maybe this is why all of this happened to us today. To which Christy would explain to him and reassure him that although she was calm and curious, this was actually her very first encounter with mermaids. She managed to calm him down, to which they went to go have a drink at a bar. And as strange as the encounter already was, what this guy at the bar says to her was even stranger. The guy says to her, "You know, she must actually really like you." To which Christy would say, "Who?" He says, "Sharolda. I saw what happened between you and Sharolda today. You guys were gone for nearly 4 hours. Alright guys, so if you want to hear how this story ends, please go ahead and comment part 3. Make sure you leave a follow so you can keep up with my creepy stories that I'll be posting every single day. Final part of the mermaid encounter. So they're at the bar and this guy basically tells them, you know, like, I saw everything that went down between you guys and Sharolda. According to the guy, people don't normally come back when they go that far out and meet Sharolda. So to him, it was a complete shock to him that those two made it back. To them, they were out at sea for maybe 20 minutes. But according to everybody else who saw them go out there, they were out there for 4+ hours. Now, after their drinks, they left the bar and Christy went to go stand by the water. Now, keep in mind, y'all, it's late. It's 11 p.m. at night. And Christy, we don't know if she has a death wish or not, but she is standing by that water, waiting for something to happen because her curiosity was getting the best of her. The companion sees Christy standing by the water this late, knowing what they just went through, knowing what just happened, and he's still freaked out. So he rushes over to Christy, grabs her up and says, "No, listen, we gotta get out of here. I don't have a good feeling about tonight, and I do not have a good feeling about staying in this hotel." Christy is trying to convince him. Christy's like, "No, I think we should stay. It wasn't that bad. The encounter wasn't that bad." And he's like, "If we stay, I feel like they're gonna come back for us and finish the job." The companion felt like this was life-threatening. However, Christy was like, "No, I think we just have to learn about this more." Christy would proceed on trying to convince the companion to stay at the resort, and the companion was like, "Absolutely not." Christy even recommended another hotel nearby, and he's like, "Anything near this body of water, I do not want to be near." He says, "We are leaving and we are going back to my house," the house that was made out of mud and sand. Christy notices that the companion is not budging, so she agrees. They get their stuff at the resort and they start heading outside until a whole thunderstorm just starts to happen. And I'm talking, it is pouring rain. Thunder, rain, winds, like it is absolutely awful. It's giving stay inside the resort. But the companion had already had his mind set out that he was going home today. So despite how bad the weather was, they will both proceed to get in that car so they could drive as far away from this body of water as possible. And fair enough, when they got close to his house, the rain stopped. Now, she spent the entire week at his crib and then went back home. Now, the story, of course, is not over, because when she gets home, she gets a call from one of her family members. And this family member is basically yelling at her like, "Yo, what are you doing? Why did you go swimming in the water?" And she's on the phone with him like, "Wait, what are you talking about?" And he's like, basically, he had a dream, a nightmare, if you will. Now, this is her relative talking to her on the phone about his dream. Basically, he had a dream that he was in the water, and this spirit, this deity, wrapped their arms around his leg and brought him underwater, dragged him underwater. This entity showed him the entire marine kingdom, all of the creatures that live there, and told them that those are my creatures and I am the father of these creatures, both on land and in sea. So as he's looking around at all the sea creatures, he notices Christy swimming among the mermaids, and him automatically having the understanding that Christy was not supposed to be there. The deity scared him off and told him to give Christy this message ASAP. And that message was pretty motherfucking clear. Do not come back to the freaking water and fuck around with things that you do not understand. As he also told the relative, take this as a warning, because if I come back to your dreams next time, I won't be so nice. Christy took that warning and said, okay. She feels like she has pissed off the water deity, and that concludes the story. So today, Christy's very aware of the marine kingdom, is very respectful, and also knows that these mysterious, unexplainable things actually happen. And also not to mess with things that we do not understand. But at the same time, she is still trying to uncover the truth about the Marine Kingdom and exactly what happened to her that day. That's it for today's story. So if you want to hear more creepy Haitian story times, mermaid encounters, Lugawu story times, go ahead and follow me and leave a comment underneath this video. I'll be dropping more content tonight and tomorrow.